Greetings, traveler. My name is Xanthos. I've been working in the games industry for over 10 years now, and I've noticed that words like fun, interesting, cadence, strategy, monetization, and so on, generic words like that actually harm our conversations in game design more than they help them. So let me give you a story to illustrate this. I was working on a mobile online game that had been around for quite a while now. And one of the words that the team used a lot was cadence. They were talking about the cadence of the game, the cadence of the characters, and so on. And this word was thrown around very liberally. And it started with the game designers, but then it moved to the product owners of the game and the project managers and QA, and basically everybody was using it, but not in the way that you would imagine it. They wouldn't describe the rhythm of a certain type of release or a certain type of monster. They would instead talk about the cadence of the game. And when you generalize it so much, I was completely lost about what they mean by the cadence of the game, since they were talking about basically everything. So today what I want to talk about is how using generic words like that is not helping our communications. And this is the reason why. The reason is, if they're so generic, they will be used in a generic way, and their meaning and the information they want to convey will be diluted. Another word that usually gets thrown around a lot is fun or interesting. Let's do this feature because it's fun. Let's make that because it's interesting. Oh, we should make that game because it sounds interesting. Nobody is going to engage with our game because it sounds interesting. Everything in this world sounds interesting to someone. We have to be more specific about who is going to like what about our game. And when we measure it, there is no metric for fun. There is no way to measure how much fun or how engaged someone feels with the game, how much they want to play it. We can only measure things like how much time they spend in the game, how many actions they took in the game, how many items they consumed, and so on. These are things we can measure. And when we're trying to improve something, we have to measure something to know if we're improving or not. So this is a problem I noticed, and the way I tackled it in my way was to avoid using these words as much as possible. And I know what you're thinking. How can you talk about games without talking about fun, interesting, strategy, monetization, all these big generic words? Well, of course, you're going to use them at some point. But when it comes down to designing something or having a conversation about how something should be made in the game, then it doesn't serve us. There's no point telling someone, oh, let's make this event because it's fun. Of course it's fun. We wouldn't be making it otherwise. That goes without saying. But what we need to communicate is how we're going to make it fun and what results we hope that to achieve in the game. So, for example, when we're designing an event for an online game, we want to say we want to re-invite the players that haven't played for a while to log in again, or we want to show players something interesting about an area in the game that's not often frequented. So we know who, we know how, and we know why we're doing this. Also, when we're talking about monetization, there's no point saying, oh, we have to improve the monetization of the game, because that goes without saying. Everybody always wants to improve the monetization of every game in existence. There's no point discussing it in this sense. We have to be more specific in our conversations and say, for example, that we want to make sure that people are having a better time or more engagement or more use or value out of using some item. We want them to use it more. So to use it more, we're going to add these features to it. We're going to add all this extra capability to it. So when people purchase it, they can do so and so more than what they can do now. For example, that conversation is more meaningful for game development than saying, oh, let's make this item more fun or more valuable or better. So that's in a nutshell what I want to talk about today. It has helped me a lot to move away from this generic kind of terms. In fact, one time it helped me so much that when me and another game designer were just joined a company and were working for a position, the other game designer was using these words a little bit too much, perhaps, and they were causing more trouble than helping the team. And eventually, let's just say he was reassigned to something. So it can be dangerous sometimes to be too generic about the design choices that we make. Conversely, when I use it in a specific way like this, it will either help people, design what we were talking about and make it, or it helped reveal problems in that approach, which is just as valuable when you're trying to improve something. By revealing problems after I specifically said, I want to increase the amount of time players spend in this area, then we can have more meaningful conversations about how to achieve that. If I had said, I want to improve the player experience, which is again a very generic term, it would be difficult to move forward with making it. So I hope this helps you. If you know someone who is in this kind of situation, dealing with these generic terms and doesn't know what to do to break through them, perhaps share this video with them, and I think it will help them out. Anyway, thank you for your time today, and as always, have fun.